Thank you very much for this first panel. So we talked a lot about banks and finance, but the next panel is about talking about non-financial use cases of crypto assets, because we all know and we speak a lot about how to regulate the markets in crypto assets, but crypto is everywhere. That's the name of the panel. And the goal is to have the good framework for each use cases. If there is no need for any framework, no framework. But also to understand that there is much more than finance when talking about crypto assets. So welcome to the next panel, Crypto is Everywhere.
So hello, so we're going to talk about, as you said, Faustine, crypto is everywhere, and why crypto is not only about speculation or financial use case. So let's begin with all of you. Quentin de Beauchesne, you are CEO of Ownest. It's a company that uses blockchain to improve supply chain, so you're going to talk more about this, I hope. Nicolas Joly, you are Group M&A Project Director. Chairman of Casino Immobilier, so very famous with the activity in crypto as a French group. We have someone from Near Foundation. I don't know your name because you're a replacement, so what is your name, sorry?
I'm Maya.
Maya, so very pleased to have you with us. And the last one is Jérôme Tychey, CEO of Cometh. So we're going to talk about Cometh and DeFi and gaming DeFi. You are Italian France president and founder of blockchain game Cometh. So let's begin with you, Jérôme. Don't be shy. How crypto is, my first question is for all of you. How crypto is accelerating its use case, and why you found Cometh, and especially in DeFi and for the gaming?
Well, it's always a bit intimidating to be in this room. So very happy to be here, and very pleased to have Adan organizing such a conference. So to tackle your questions, there is many ways of answering it. But I grew up with the internet coming in France. Like I was living next to the frontier of Luxembourg, and we had ADSL, I think broadband internet, like late 90s. Before that, it was just awful to just be able to go on the internet and do anything. I had little to no access to music or to CDs and stuff because you had to drive for 50 kilometers before you get anything. So once I got internet, I was super pleased to be able to download stuff on the internet. Then suddenly I started to have a digital right being enforced. Like sometimes you download the music, an MP3 on eDonkey or Casa or something, and you get in the middle of the track, hey, you have downloaded this thing, it's forbidden, and so on. So enforcement of digital right, access to digital assets and so on is something that is deeply rooted in what we can...
So it's not about social links in general.
Yeah, how we consume those goods and so on. We have the blockchain change of paradigm in terms of what we can own on the internet, because we are able to generate our keys. We are able to generate the wallets that can hold different assets that we recognized as developer of application that use this layer as a base layer for expression and asset storage as a layer of truth. So this is where I think non-financial assets, like assets representing arts, assets representing music, assets representing a picture or an item in a game are becoming so powerful. Since they are living in this decentralized ledger where we can enforce some rules, where we can enforce some logic, we are able to have the very royalties, the very digital rights, the very functioning of those different assets directly inside the infrastructure that we use. So what blockchain is changing inside the internet is giving you these property rights directly enforceable in this layer. And I feel like it's greatly a great freedom for anyone that wants to use those things. It's multiple different use cases that you can enforce with that. And personally, I'm in the video game business because I think it's also a great way to create new games, to create interoperability between games, thanks to those assets. And that's the kind of thing I track every day.
Thank you. Let's continue with you, Maria. In Near Foundation, how crypto, and what are you doing in general? Let's begin with the beginning.
Sure. So I'll speak a little bit on behalf of the ecosystem that we're seeing grow in the space. There's a bunch of different projects that are being built that are focused on the Near protocol, and obviously you see it with other foundations and other protocols as well. We could start with the DAO, and DAOs right now are basically revolutionizing the entire corporate structure. So we're seeing this democratic movement, and it's phenomenal to watch. We also have different NFTs, NFT games, and also NFT projects that are being worked on, where the NFTs are buildable. So you could kind of curate your own NFT and continue to add different features to it. Aside from NFTs, the gaming world is also another interesting part that you hit on as well. And for the most part, those three are the main focus right now in our ecosystem, and those are the ones that we're really excited about. And we're seeing a lot of movement in those areas.
Okay. With you, Quentin de Beauchesne, can you explain how, with Ownest, how crypto is accelerating your job or your company? About use cases.
Yeah, so what's interesting is to think about what is NFTs. And NFTs and blockchain, it's transfer of value. And we talked a lot, and that's why it's called crypto finance. We talk a lot about the finance part, so we can transfer value, which is currency or finance. But we also can do this with ownership, which is done a lot with collectibles and gaming, etc. But we can transfer other things, and what we thought about transferring is responsibility. So for supply chain, we invented Ownest, which is a protocol to transfer responsibility from one person to the other. And so we changed the way we transfer things and tracking. Before, the idea was we want to track where are the things. Now, what we want to do is we want to know who is responsible for what. And we use NFTs for that. For one NFT, you will have one physical object. And at any time you transfer the physical object, you will also transfer the responsibility. And you need acceptation for this. So it's not like most NFTs where you can transfer it to anyone without a previous validation from the person. Here you need an acceptation for this. So you need a consensus from the two people doing the transfer to have the transfer. So the two people will, that's why we talk a lot about like an hot potato protocol, because everyone that has a responsibility has the impression of having a hot potato. Because the only thing you want is to give that NFT to the next person. But the next person doesn't want it if it doesn't have the responsibility of something. So you end up with a consensus where everyone is watching what is being transferred. So you have real traceability, real data of what is happening on the field. And we can do this with nearly any object because it's an NFT, it's digital. It can represent at the same time rails for SNCF or luxury bags for Saint Laurent.
Yeah, it's a very large range of use cases in your case. So how do you identify at the beginning the use cases about NFT in your company at the beginning?
How do we identify it?
Yeah.
We identified it, like we said, we were at the time asked by a lot of corporations, we want to track something, can you help us with blockchain? And we've seen a lot of traceability with I take an event, I create a proof of it, and I put it in the blockchain. But we saw that it wasn't solving anything. You can do this on a database. If the event is false, it's still false. You need to really use the blockchain. And so we, like I said at the beginning, we saw that the transfer of value, and so now the transfer of responsibility, was a way to do it, really.
As you, Nicolas, what is casino with crypto when you talk about this, and especially in the metaverse, maybe?
Yeah, so Casino is, as you know, a food retailer with a strong footprint in France and Latin America. And for a group like us, well, we are looking at a global overview of the potential of Web3, even more than crypto actually, even if Web3 is mostly driven by crypto and blockchain. And the idea is the fact that I don't know if crypto is everywhere today, but we have the deep conviction that tomorrow Web3 will definitely be a part of our customer and our daily journey, actually. So that's something we definitely need to dig in, and that's actually what we do. So we are looking in the global view of Web3, trying to make some initiatives on every part of it, so metaverse, NFTs, stablecoin, even bringing real assets, real estate assets onto the blockchain to explore many initiatives with two main things in mind. The first being to educate our customer, because of course we are going to the Web3 community and it's always a harsh welcome. Everyone is really warm to us and eager to share. But we are also talking to our everyday customers, because at least crypto is everywhere in the news now, in the newspapers, on TV. So our customers, they ask themselves about what's the value creation for me tomorrow through the crypto, through Web3. So one thing for us, and we think we have a responsibility on that, is try to educate our customers, to give them the keys to better understand the opportunities offered by Web3 actors in their daily life tomorrow. And the second part is being value creation driven. The idea is not to make innovation for innovation or mere marketing. We are looking the day after tomorrow. We are not focusing on today, but we try to build tomorrow's use cases that will create value for us on our assets and that will create value for our customers tomorrow. So the question is how we'll be able to build the infrastructures that will help us and help our customers tomorrow to extract some extra value in their daily journey, basically. And I'll be happy to share a few of our initiatives, especially with Ownest recently. We brought some existing NFT on Ethereum from a French community, Rootkits. We brought them into our shop. So now our customers are able to buy a pack mixing some physical rewards, promotion with the buying an NFTs and all the rewards linked to being a part of this Rootkits community. So, and we took this opportunity to have a conversation with our customers to help them being more educated about Web3. So as you can see, we are pretty excited about that, but still very humble in everything we are testing.
Do you want to come, Maria? I saw your reaction about what Nicolas said.
So I really like the education component, especially because we're focusing on that as well at NEAR. I think one of the biggest gaps that we see, and I'm sorry I'm going to mention regulation. I know that was the previous forum. I'll keep it very brief though, but basically one of the biggest gaps we see in the industry is we do see a lot of young entrepreneurs wanting to launch these incredible products, but there's a fear towards the regulation. And it does have to do a lot with what's in the news and how things are being portrayed on the regulatory side. And then on the other end, when we speak to regulators and different people in the government space, we see that there's also kind of this misunderstanding that maybe crypto does not care about regulation. And so trying to bridge that gap is something that we've been focusing on, because the only way to flourish this amazing, Web3 and also all these projects is to kind of merge the two and have them be a bit more friendly and be like having more communication and talking a bit more about the issue as well. And we do have one really cool project that was actually focused on KYC and NFTs that I would love to mention and share is called KYC DAO. And basically, it kind of gives you a view that just NFTs are not just this cool image. They could be utilized in different aspects of the space. So basically what they do is they integrate with different verification tools, like for example, like Trulio, Onfido, etc. And once you've verified your identity through one of these verification tools, you get minted a unique NFT that embeds your identity verification. And so if other products are utilizing it, now you don't have to re-verify yourself every time you sign up for a new website or new exchange, etc. So I think that's something that's also an interesting use case of NFTs. But yeah, I'll hand it back to you.
And in your case, Jérôme, why NFTs are a game changer in gaming, for example?
Well, crypto is everywhere. Crypto is everywhere. You all have a smartphone, right? You all have an email. You all have an email address. Well, turns out your email address runs on a public key infrastructure, very similar to what we use in the blockchain. So when you click on the three dots saying original or details on an email, you actually see the signature that your email provider is using. So you have a wallet technically in your email. Well, good news. You are using crypto every time you are doing anything with your emails. Now ask yourself the questions, like would you rather lose access to your email and have to change email provider, or change your bank or change any financial services? You will probably be better off just changing your bank services than changing your email address, because it's so intertwined with everything you do online. Your online identity and your online activity is completely merged into your life as it is. Sometimes it's really hard to grasp the impact of the metaverse narrative, because people feel like, oh, I'm not living in a simulation, I'm not living in a digital world, I'm living in the physical world. No, the digital world is intertwined with what you live on a daily basis. Ask yourself also the question, like, would you rather lose every picture you have in your phone or lose every picture you have at your home? Well, it's very likely that all the pictures that you have in your home are also the pictures that you have in your phone, or a small portion of the picture that you have in your phone. And this is where NFTs and the ownability of those assets through a wallet is so powerful. Looking back on what was the first internet currency, it can be arguably said that it was World of Warcraft gold, like some gold, virtual gold that you can get playing World of Warcraft. And there was lots of people just getting this gold and selling it to other people on eBay. Well, turns out it's against the rules of the publisher, Blizzard, at this time. And Blizzard was trying to ban people doing that, or to curb people from doing that. And everything that you are doing in games, everything that your experience in the game is linked to the platform that is distributing the game, or eventually to the publisher that is creating this game. That's very limiting in terms of what the players and what the users of those video games are getting out of those games. And that's also curbing the interoperability and accessibility on different things. When I interact with someone, I like to know if he or she is playing this game or that game, or how hardcore of a gamer he or she is. If this person is going to play my game, I want to be able to give this person access to special features if they have played other games. And I expect this person to want to finish the game or want to achieve special things in order to get a sign of recognition, like a trophy or a special dress, a special sword or whatever, and being able to trade that without me, because if it's traded as an NFT, I can enforce in some ways some royalties on that. So I'm very happy to give that power to other people. The metaverse narrative also strive on previous games like Roblox or like Minecraft and so on, where everything is given out to the players and to the creators to build on top of those systems. That involves having free access to the different assets. So it may sound completely weird to have McDonald's as a brand inside a digital world. Yeah, and letting someone that has bought whatever, like Batman costume and be able to walk into the McDonald's. But it's creating more value and more visibility for those brands. So it's even good on the commercial side to open up those assets and let people trade it, let people build around it, and let people create things around it. And what blockchain is bringing on top of your email and top of your identification is this strong ownability of what you've created, because you've been generating this wallet yourself. It's not something that you've generated through Gmail or through Yahoo Mail or through whatever. You are in charge of that. This freedom of creating things, because in the end it's just math and an algorithm that have generated this key, is much more powerful and much more entitling than any regulation can actually push or limit or try to embrace. I was quoting before, like the fact of you were downloading file on the internet, and then you eventually get a letter from Hadopi or from whatever authority saying you cannot download. Well, imagine a situation where you buy a shirt and people tell you, oh, you bought this shirt, you are only allowed to wear it when you're in Paris. If you're not in Paris, you're not allowed to wear it. Like, no, it's a digital thing that I can copy paste, I can transfer, I can do something. The technology is adapting to our life, and our life needs to adapt to this technology. So it's interesting to see how regulators are trying to take an approach on that, saying we need to create something that will protect the user, or we need to create something that will protect our industry, rather than trying to do a regulation that will push people to adapt to this technology and to find new use cases and to enjoy more this technology. So I know that we have a lot of regulators here. Well, I will quote Jordan Peterson: "Let the child skateboard, let them have fun, and see what comes out good or bad."
Do you want to have something, Quentin? I saw your eyes when Jérôme was speaking.
I wanted to think about crypto is everywhere. But what we did with Ownest is our users, our drivers, warehouse people, people that don't use MetaMask, that even sometimes rarely use a smartphone. So they can't like remember the private keys, all those complicated things with crypto, but they still have a wallet. We have an application that looks like Web 2, but when you log in on a wallet, a crypto wallet, with
a simple application, yeah.
With a public and open blockchain. So we see crypto like just as a technical layer, absolutely not like a finance or anything layer. When people are sending the NFTs, they need to use some fees, to burn some fees, to use the network. So we give them the crypto, so they are able to do this, but they don't see the crypto layer. So like crypto is everywhere, so the people sending parcels, the people, we have many use cases in many industries, and all these use cases are done with crypto. Crypto is everywhere without being seen, which is kind of the interesting thing. Is it's really the technical layer, and that's what is important, because a lot of talk lately was about NFT as a finance tool. you could use it as a finance tool, but it's really just a part of it. It's not what NFTs are. NFT is digital rarity, and you can apply this rarity to many use cases. And I think like 99% of use cases aren't even thought or invented yet. So if we regulate this like a financial tool, we will just destroy all those potential use cases. And that's probably what the Google and the Facebook, etc. of tomorrow will be. We will see them with this kind of use cases that nobody has ever even thought about it yet.
Nicolas, what is your secret to build a strong community with NFT? What mistake we have to avoid?
Well, I have two things to react on what Quentin was saying. The first thing regards the customer. I mean, making the journey as smooth as possible, actually, and to make the blockchain or crypto not seen, because the idea is the value underneath the technology, what is open, what it allows to the customer. So that's why in our strategy we try to test and learn many things. And happy to work with some players from the French startup ecosystem to make those journey really smooth, to try to create bridges actually between the physical world, the Web 2 and the Web 3 communities, because what is at stake there is to bring some people there, to make some more and more people inside Web 3, so we'll have some a large footfall. It's all about traffic, actually. So that is one important thing. The other thing, and to react also on what Maya was saying, was of course regulation. And I think we are trying also to look very closely at that as a listed and regulated actor from the old world. And we're trying on also every bricks of the ecosystem. I told you we've launched a Euro-peg stablecoin called LUG, EURL. We've recently been registered by the AMF, so we have a close dialogue with the regulators on that. And on the other hand, on all our initiatives, we really think we have a responsibility as an institutional group to collect some feedback from our test and learn initiatives in order to, in the midterm, be able to share this, I will dare, qualified feedback with our view being a listed and regulated company from the old world. So it's definitely not only about innovation or marketing. It's a much more important thing which is at stake there, and we have to take a part in this journey.
Maria, what is the secret to build a very strong community with NFTs?
Yeah, so I think the cool thing about NFTs is they're so, we can expand the use cases in so many different ways, and I think we're going to continue seeing new ways of using them, like there are airdrops, promotional NFTs, in-game NFTs, NFTs that represent real assets, which I think is a very interesting concept as well. And with that expansion, like we mentioned, there are two issues that come to mind, and I think that it would be great as an industry if we were all conscious of them. One of them is the licensing frameworks that come with the NFTs. We're seeing a lot of case law come out related to different NFTs that are they were sold with certain rights, but then later on there are disputes about what those rights are. So I think more clarification around the licensing framework as a whole, I think in our industry could definitely improve and continue to build on that in order to continue flourishing. And then the second component is also different use cases of NFTs. I think some of the fear around them from the regulatory perspective is, do they look like a security? And are they a security? So those are some of the other things that are coming up right now So we're all conscious of it as we're looking at new projects. Like from a near perspective, we're very conscious of these things when we're looking at new projects to give grants to and to help grow. So that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yep.
Yeah, Jérôme, do you want
I think I should give you a couple of more practical use cases for video games. So,
Let's go.
if you ever played any game where there is a virtual economy, like you have iron, you have leather, and you can exchange leather against iron, that's a headache for game developers to figure out how to distribute iron, how to distribute leather, how to make sure that the price from leather to iron is right. And more importantly, if you can craft an armor with leather and iron, you need to make sure that the recipe to craft that is adapted to whatever the state of the economy is. So that's typically where you can apply decentralized finance primitives and NFTs in order to ease that process, solve some of the problems that this process can create. So as a game designer, if I want to create a game with DeFi, I can use an automated market maker like Uniswap or a fork of Uniswap and say my leather is a ERC20 token, my iron is an ERC20 token, and the recipe to create this armor is depositing liquidity on the leather to iron pool. So suddenly, my recipe is a fixed deposit, but the representation of these deposits can be completely variable over time, can change on the distribution of leather, on the production of iron, and so on. So that's giving ways for the game designers to be much more flexible, to really enjoy the market mechanism and the economic primitives that DeFi is carrying over. So that's super great for game design, but that can be also applied to new business models for gaming. So instead of, well, there's a famous game that came out recently with J.R.R. Martin as one of the storytellers called Elden Ring. Let's say Elden Ring called $100. If you pay $100 for Elden Ring, you just bought the license and now you have downloaded Elden Ring. Instead of that, we can create an NFT representing this license, and the only way to get this NFT is to do a deposit on a decentralized finance protocol like Aave or another lending protocol. And the way the thing would work is, well, you have made this deposit of $100, now you can enjoy the game for a year, and after a year, you can destroy your license and get some of your funds back, or all your funds back, or part of your funds back. In which case, as a game publisher, as a game developer, or as a businessman in this industry, I can say, well, instead of pushing the person to burn it after a year, let's say we ask this person to stake it again and get a DLC or get more content out of it. So that's different ways that we can engage the players, and also we can tell the players, if you have this NFT, there is now this new game coming out, and if you buy this new game or if you participate to the financing of this new game, you can take part of it. And that's mainly for the big players initially, I think, but more importantly for all the small creators that we have in France, and we have a vibrant ecosystem of indie games in France, where they open some Kickstarters saying, I need to raise 20K in order to build this 2D retro game and so on, and then they go knock on the door at the CNC to get subsidies and so on, and then eventually they manage or not to build their games. Well, you can just sell NFTs in the first place and say, if you like my games, just buy my NFTs, and if I get enough, I will build this game. And the good thing about that is that you can trade those NFTs with your friends, or you can say, well, on the first 2 years of the game will only be accessible for the people that hold the NFT, and after 2 years we're going to open up or something like that. Overall, that's different application of NFTs and the whole and blockchain to the various industry, and the noise that we have from regulation from. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, the noise that we have from regulation is, I mean, 5 years ago it was, this is money to finance terrorism. Well, newsflash, like both the people for the terrorist attack bought their guns with classic bank loans. So,
it's more for Bitcoin or something.
Yeah, and Bitcoin is dirty, and this is bad, and you're going to get scammed, and so on and so forth. We are creating this ambience of crypto bad, blockchain bad, and so on.
About that, like with Ukraine and Russia, when we talk about cryptocurrency, everyone saying, yeah, Russia, they can use crypto for something. But the only use case we've really seen is people giving money with crypto to Ukraine.
Much more efficient. So just for the sake of keeping it short on the regulation, like there is a problem of mental model here. maybe we should look at blockchain as a sovereign state. It's something independent of us. You cannot shut down Bitcoin. You cannot shut down Ethereum. You can shut down Solana, potentially, I think, or there's a problem with that if there's not too many nodes. But once there is enough nodes, once the consensus is big enough, there's no way for you to shut down the blockchain. And the people on the blockchain will apply their own rules. You can try to stop their leaders. You can try to shut down the GitHub repository. You can try different things. But you have to really attack this thing to shut it down. Otherwise, it will just live. So instead of thinking about, well, how are we going to apply blockchain? How are we going to regulate blockchain? Accept the fact that blockchain is around you, crypto is around you, and try to make sure that your citizen, the industry that you represent, is going to properly commerce with these new sovereign states. It's going to properly export and import the right thing of this new sovereign state.
So Nicolas, what is the Casino strategy about NFTs in general? How do you build with your customers? How do you build a strong community around Casino with NFTs?
Well, we try many things actually. It's really test and learn strategy driven. We've launched a collection with one of our brand, Monoprix, which is like premium design oriented and pure Monoprix DNA actually. So it was like pure design available on Ethereum. We've also launched some I'd say, other type of NFTs, rather like reward-driven, to enhance the relationship with our customers. So basically, the guys that will claim their NFT, they get extra promotion on any purchase they will do on our Web2 site. And at the end, we're gonna plug in those avatar NFTs to the initiative we've launched in the sandbox, where we've developed a game also driven by the quest of some promotion and extra reward and so. Basically, there are so many use cases actually. I mean, NFT is a technology, and it's our goal to reveal every use case is possible that create value for the customer and for ourselves. We've talking about utility, but also security. Was talking about how we can maybe bring the real assets, the real estate assets on the blockchain too. That's something that we are looking closely at the initiatives that are made worldwide on that, because we think there's something to be done on this B2B part also. We are not looking only on a B2C side, you know. So the idea is really to go to the people, because it's not only about test and learn, it's share and learn, try to meet the people from the community, understand their project, and see what could match with our customer needs tomorrow. And be very humble about that. When you try, you might fail, okay, still carry on. And also, I'd say very agnostic about everything. I mean, we don't have some conviction from the start. We are just exploring this new world and trying, once again, to give our customers the keys to better understand tomorrow the Web3. We're trying to get them ready for Web3. After that, will they jump in? I mean, the choice is theirs, but at least they have the key.
So let's finish with this, Maria, about metaverse. What is a good project in a metaverse for you? How do we identify this? It's a very strong question, I know.
That's a good one. Are you just talking in general about the metaverse, or like specific to what we're working on?
In general.
Okay. Yeah. So I think...
if you want to talk about casino in metaverse, you can if you want. Okay. So you want to specific.
No, so with the metaverse, I think a lot of the products that are coming out are resembling, they're basically thinking long-term on how they're going to integrate it into some sort of meta. And I mean, if we look big picture, what is the metaverse? It could be also social media, it could be every aspect of technology that we're using right now is technically meta at its basics. But if we look deeper into some of the meta platforms that are being built, where basically companies could host offices, could host parties in the metaverse, you could have your own avatar, you could act in the metaverse. Those are also concepts that merge NFTs and gaming a little bit as well, but mainly NFTs, I believe, are going to be very strongholds in the metaverse. They're going to be utilized a lot to exchange assets, basically probably sell parcels of land through NFTs, purchase clothes, etc. There are different variety of uses right now that are being basically experimented with. On the metaverse concept, I'm always thinking also, it's just interesting to see how things are going to play out again on the legal side. It's like who's going to be liable in the metaverse for certain actions taken by an avatar, etc. And so it's going to be cool to see how that grows and flourishes.
Do you have something, Jérôme, about metaverse? Very quick.
Well, if you have ever taken a call over the internet, you were in the metaverse, so it's already quite around us. Like if you visit any office from Facebook or any of their booths at a tech event, they will make you try their virtual environment where you can take calls or meet with your friends. The simple fact that they are able to mimic what's happening on your face when you raise your eyebrow, when you look at right, when you look at left. It's immersive enough so you can feel that you are in this space and enjoying this space. The step from being there to putting that in every home is not that far away. Your phone is a good thing to do VR or augmented reality, so it's coming up pretty fast. And the next step will be for you to want to decorate this place, for you to wear your favorite shirt in this place, for you to wear your favorite bag in this place, for you to put your favorite art on the wall in this place. The blockchain is just the ideal layer of ownability for this kind of applications. And it's naturally going to be a part of our life, and at some point people will realize, oh damn, those NFTs, this is what they were used for. Okay, good then. And in terms of regulation, again, and being able to enforce the law there, if I come in the metaverse and I harass content because I don't know for what reason I would do that, but I'm insulting him, he will just report me saying like, hey, this guy has insulted me and my family, so get him banned. And it will be as hard to enforce as hate speech is hard to enforce on social media, but we already have a framework for that.
Faustine is watching about me, but Quentin, the last word is for you if you want. If you have a last word about metaverse.
Not really.
Or not.
Well, saying it's not really new. Like Second Life was 20 years ago, so it's just that we're using new tools for the what we call no metaverse.
Okay. So thank you for your time. Time is over. Thanks a lot again. Thank you.
Thanks.